What's up? Figured this would be a fun little video. Doing some joinery on black locust bench. It's just half of it that goes around a hot tub. And we got this Makita beam saw, mostly for cutting joinery, so we can cut all the way through when you're doing big joints. And I'll show you around a little bit. Let me see what you're looking at here. All right, so you can't really see the joint. So if you look at this slab of black locust here, you can see this is I think it's about 3 inches thick. Just double check it here quick. So yeah, it's just over 3 inches, almost 3 3/16 thick. And in the past, when I was breaking the slab down rough, I got to make a final cut on a joint that's going to go in a corner, so this is going to be a big L around a hot tub. As you can see, when you cut with a circular saw, you can't get all the way through. Well, what I've always done in the past is finish it off with a handsaw and then plane it. But we were building some, we were doing some timber framing, and we were doing some complex joints on a big octagon on large timbers, like 8x8, 6x6. And we needed the saw to help cut in the joinery and make it faster. And we also figured that in breaking down slabs into beams and so on and so forth, we could use it for that. But to be honest, in breaking down beams, the vertical mill and the chainsaw is faster, a lot faster. But I want to do a review on this Makita. So, in case you were ever wondering about getting one, this is, sorry about the angle here, this is a 5402. It's 15 5/16 blade. The Makita blade that came with it, I wasn't super impressed with. It had a lot of deflection in it, so I kind of used it up. I did run it through my sharpener. I haven't tried it yet, but we just stuck a new Diablo blade, and the only one that they have was a 62. So this is kind of going to be a good test for it here on this this angle cut. It's just a cross cut, but we're going to see how the deflection is. So we'll check it, see how square it comes out. Probably can't see my face there, but that's okay. So this does angle all the way over, a little above 45 actually. We have cut some compound joinery with this. Overall, it's not the easiest saw to work with, just to be honest with you. See what you're looking at here so I can talk to you about it. All right, I'll get down on this side. So a couple things if you're going to get into one of these. First of all, they don't have a soft start. And that's kind of important because they will jump around in your hands. How far over you can? Yeah. They will jump around in your hands. So if you're cutting joinery with these, you got to be careful about starting the saw because it will jump around on start. It's got a lot of torque. Second of all, if you're going to run it with big cords. Any drain on this, on a long extension cord like we've run out, you know, being out in the middle of nowhere and doing some joinery, it really feels the draw. I won't demonstrate that. I've got a decent sized cord here. We'll see how, I'll let you know if it's drawing it, if it's not pulling full when I fire it up. It's got fairly good power. It's no match for a vertical chainsaw mill and cutting beams. So if you think you're going to cut beams with these, just forget about it. You're going to go through blades like crazy. You'll be overheating them and going through them like crazy. It does have right here an anti-deflection mount. So this basically, if you're cutting something compound with a lot of blade out, you can put this out. It rubs against the edge of the blade to keep it from deflecting a little bit. How well it works, I'm not really sure. The Makita blade that came in this was not very good as far as deflection goes. Now, I did a bunch of cutting on black locust and some dirty stuff with it, and whether it just got dull or not, I'm not sure, but we will take a look at this joint after I cut it here. at how well this goes. And I'm going to move you back over here because we're going to make this cut. So this is the cut we're making right here. I have a template of this. I'm cutting away. I cut away from the lines to get it down to a manageable size to be able to move it around. We templated the job with 1/2-inch plywood. So I'm making this specific cut right here right now. That's going to be in the 45 in the corner, and I want this cut to be straight. So we will check it after we get done cutting it, see how straight and how square it is to the top. Top, obviously, this is right straight off the mill. This hasn't been touched, and I will do all my flattening after I have to do some tweaking. I don't know if you guys can see well, but if you look about where my finger is right here, when I templated the hot tub skirt wasn't exactly perfect. I actually got under, had the templates on top and got under and scribed around the hot tub radius, and it wasn't exactly perfect. So there's a couple of imperfections right here that I'm going to fix in the template. And then I'll rough cut that out, and I'll actually use a guided bit to get it really symmetrical. But so this is where the rubber meets the road. The other thing is it comes in has a little stand right there. You're going to want to use that a lot to hold it upright. It's a little bit awkward to be sitting around, especially when it's in a compound angle. But yeah, let's go with it here and see what happens. Obviously, you know, not talking about weight or anything like that, but it's heavy. It does come with a straight line guide for it. It's sitting right, kind of sits in the pocket right here. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. No, kind of. I'll show you better over here. Drag it over here. So, yeah, it sits in the stand. If you snap it in the stand, it goes in there really tight. So I'm not going to snap it in right now. It's got an edge guide that seems to work okay. You know, as good as any edge guide that I've used with a circular saw. But let's get her plugged in and see if we can make this cut. Hopefully that Diablo blade does a good job. Never cut with a 16 and 5/16 Diablo blade before. This saw has gotten a fair bit of work, so I've made a fair amount of cuts with it. So I'm pretty familiar with it. Make sure you got a good view. View looks good. Let's go ahead and see if we can take this sliver off here and hopefully we don't get any deflection. Now, it's nothing I can't fix. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you go into joinery like this, and this is going to have two large mortises in it, and the piece that comes in that's going to be 90 degrees to this is going to have tenons on it, and it's going to be draw bore together here so that it can move. So there'll be floating draw bore tenons, mortise and tenon on this joint. So the other one's actually getting cut like almost 3 inches over from the line for tenons. So this one's getting mortises on it. So it just needs to be a flat cut. But I can clean up anything by hand that happens to this, you know, so now I'll have to double check it. But hopefully it comes out fairly straight. We're going to find out right now. Hopefully this doesn't move, and I think this is solid enough to stay still. So let's kick in the nuts and see what happens. Put this over there so I can put it down in it afterwards, and we'll check it with straight and see how it came out. Yeah, you can see that thing jump when I kicked it off there, so you've got to be cognizant of that. Now, this is an important thing. If if you stop in the middle of the cut like I just did, definitely start away from your edge, because it is going to kick when I kick it off. All right. So initial impressions. Get you a bit of view here. We'll give you a close-up of that cut. Hopefully I get some good light on this. Let me get you angled up here a little bit. Get some, I can't really see with the sunlight. Hopefully this comes out good, but that Diablo blade cut is smooth as a piece of glass. Did a terrific job. Terrific job. It's really super smooth. You can see on my angle line there, it's close. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I can see the line here, but it's really close. Probably it'll be definitely close enough for me to work with. That kind of sucks that it got off the line out there. I'm not exactly sure why it did, but it's definitely going to be close enough to work with. If anything, that's going to push the angle a little bit more towards the hot tub. I'm going to do a couple of measurements. I don't think there's any way that I could improve on that with the saw. In other words, trying to start again down here or against the wood and try to cut that sliver off. I don't think there's any way I could improve on that with that. It's it would deflect a mile, I think, if we tried to do that right now. So I think that's going to have to be good enough. When I put the template on this, I can adjust for that. So that's no problem. You know, that's just a rough scribed line off the template. So that's not bad. It did a really, I'm just hoping it will show up in the light, but did a wicked super smooth job. Let's look at the now on the other side. It's kind of interesting actually. On the side that was against the wood, I can see some kerf lines and stuff. It's definitely not as smooth. The offcut, so that's upside down. So this was like, oh no, that's the right setup. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how it dug in right there. I don't know if you can, I don't know if that, there you go. You can see it. See how it dug in right there? That was right here. There's no corresponding line on this side. And obviously if it did draw down a little bit, I'm not sure, but it cut through this effortlessly. I barely had to push on it. So it's kind of interesting at how rough the cut is on the offcut side. I imagine that this was probably flexing like this, and that's probably why that happened. Because there is absolutely no mark on, oh, maybe I can feel a teeny little bit right here, but pretty much no mark on this. I mean, it cut beautifully. I hope the light's going to show up right in the camera. Did just a gorgeous job. And that's obviously, you know, it's dry, super hard black locust. So impressions, first of all, I think the Diablo blade did a really good job. That's a definite good improvement to this. Now those are $150 blades, just to be, or even more, 180. But yeah, so that's kind of the review on that 5402 16 5/16 saw. That is black locust, and let's take a look at how square it cut. That's really what would be important to me, because if it doesn't do a square cut, I don't need to use it. I mean, I could do this with a regular circular saw, plane and a hand saw to finish it off, and then plane it and plane it square, and away we go. Bob's your uncle. So just do some checking on it. It's not super square. It is down here, so it's perfectly square down there. As it comes across here, once I get past this little spot right here drops down, that's why. So still pretty square here. Here it's starting, it's open at the top. That's why it didn't hit that line. It was leaned over like this here, because there's got to be a bump in the slab here. I don't see it. Maybe there's some twist in the slab. I'm getting a little rock here, like this corner's a little high. So what this did, the reason I missed my line here wasn't measurement. The reason I missed my line here is because the saw shoe got angled like this, and it picked the blade out of it. So this end right here, which is going to be here to be the far end against the house, and I'll refine the joint. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm going to put these slabs together with the mortise and tenon, and I'll refine the joint till it closes. So it's you know, that I just don't want to have to do a ton of work to it. So it's perfectly square right here. Right here it starts to be open on the top, which is the saw was leaning over like that, away from the line, and everywhere I can see the line is where it was leaning, and then it's back square here. So it's just this one little section right here. It must be a high spot right here that the shoe was made it tip. It's perfectly square right here. So let's see how straight the cut is. So just using, obviously I'm just using a level as a straight edge. Set that level straight. Should be. So this level doesn't, you know, it's not obviously bent. So that's actually, yep. So it's perfectly straight till here where it comes off the line. So this one little section right here where it leaned in is kicking me out to where I can see light through the middle of the joint. If I take it off that section, it's perfectly flat. So it's perfectly flat until right here. And I can actually feel it with my fingers. I can feel the bump right there. I can see it with the level, with the bump right there. I wonder if I can get you down there to see that. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to show you, but not where you're going to be able to see it, but it is. There's a bump right here. And it might have been the way I was pushing on the saw. Yeah, it's right where it came off the line. So actually that'll be easy. I can just plane the top side of this and Bob's your uncle. So yeah, that's it. Handy dandy carrying case, Diablo blade cut well. I'll show you what I was talking about before. Right here, I can feel it with my finger right here. Right where it came off the line, there's a bump. And that's the only place it's not showing square. So yeah, that's it. Beam saw. If you think you're going to cut beams with those things though, forget about it. You're going to go through $150, $180 blades, overheating them all the time, especially if you're going to use a guide. If you're going to do it by freehand, you'll probably wear that saw out pretty quick. A vertical chainsaw mill, way faster, way less stress on the saw. But you could use it, but you're gonna wear it out, I would imagine. I bet if I spent a year cutting beams with that saw wouldn't make it 6 months, I bet. But they're expensive. I mean, you're talking about with a blade $1,000 saw. So worth it. The first project that I did with that saw paid for it with the joinery. So I don't have any regrets myself. How much do I use it? I mean, stuff like this. So, you know, this is a fairly high dollar job right here. It's not, you know, it's not, it's by no means the highest end job that I do, but it's not a cheap job either. This is a big dollar bench, so anything that I can get out of that. Oh, I can really see that bump down the line from here. What if I get the get the stupid tripod? You know what? I'll take you out of the tripod. Let's finish up like this. I'll see if I can take you out of here without killing it. So, still on? Yep. So I'll let you see what I'm making a fuss about. If you look right down this line, I'll put my finger over here. Right by my finger, right there's the little bump. That's where it came off. And I might have been because I was pushing from this motor side. But it cut straight down the line the whole way until right there. And that's where it's showing not square. I think you can see that. I can see it plain as day with my eyes. So that's actually easy fix for me with a low angle jack plane to take that top edge right to that line. This is getting moved inside on the bench right now, and that's exactly one of the first things I'll do is take that right to the middle of the line like the rest of this. So I will plane this top edge off right here, and that cut's done. And then I'm going to go to work on this side. I got to refine the template first. If you can see right here, see how this nice symmetric curve kind of does some funny things right here. Well, I got to refine the template to take that imperfection out of the template. Then I'll make a new line. I'll cut to the line with a jigsaw, and then I'll use a guided router bit on the template to make my final cut on this. And this is the cutout around the hot tub. And then this end here is going to have, there's a pipe that comes up through it right here. Let's see, look from back here. There's a pipe that comes up through right here. It's a downspout off the house. And this goes right against the house. And then the hot tub continues over like this. And they want a little drink table cut out of this end. So I have to come up with a funky shape to cut a drink table on here where they're not going to be sitting. This will be about at your waist height, probably similar to the height that is on the sawhorses right here, around the top of the hot tub, flush with the top. And there'll be a little drink table here. So there's a walkway going through here, and you'll be able to, you know, set drinks on there and stuff. It's the back side of the house on their patio. So that's what we got going on. This is just half of it. The other slab I haven't brought home yet. It's cut just like this one, but mirror image to it going around the other side of the hot tub. Goes that way, along the house that way, and the hot tub sits in the middle. So it's on to cutting out this shape, doing the final radius, finishing the top, and cutting the mortises on that face for the drawbore mortise and tenon. And then I'll set this slab aside, and we'll get the other slab here. We'll finish them off, put them together, refine the joint, and then we're going to fit some black locust legs under it. This way the situation is, I can attach this edge. I can put a cleat under this edge to attach it to the house, but that's it. The rest of it's gonna float. So we're going to put some black locust funky shaped logs under it for feet, fairly significant ones. And we'll do that last step before install. So that's where we are. Sorry this got so long. I'll give you one more look at the model number on this. 5402, 120 volt, 15 amp, 16 and 5/16. That is the 16 and 5/16 62 Diablo blade. 60 teeth would be not something I'd want to do a lot of rip cuts with. I want to stick way below that, but this is what they had, so it made that cut like really like nothing. And I can see, if you can see at the end of my finger right here, I can see where it kicked out. It kicked out right. There's a swirl in the wood right there. That's where it kicked out right there. That's where that bump is. Why that happened, I don't know, but it really, 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 shooting close here if I can get something to get it to focus. Hopefully it focuses here, but it really, really, really made a perfectly smooth cut. Hope you can see that good. There's one little dinky ridge right here. That's when I switched my hand position where I was pushing on the motor side. And then here's the swirl right here, the bump that goes up to the top that's sticking out. This is it right here. And whether it did that because of the slab, and I guess if you look across the top of the slab, you can kind of see there's a little dinky cup up into that edge. So that could be why it did that. Either that or it was operator error there. Yeah, you can kind of see it come up right here. How it comes up just a little bit. I think that corner's a little high. I could probably check it pretty simply. I mean, this is going to be flattened 100%, but yeah, you can see it. There's a gap in the middle. That corner's high. A little bit of twist here. You see it's hitting over here and a little high there. But this is the you know, the finish off the chainsaw mill. Cut this pretty good. Fairly smooth. This will we'll do some epoxy fill on the inclusion here and smooth it out with planes, hand planes, and it'll be like a piece of glass when I'm done. So certainly is going to look cool. Hey, thanks for watching.